Riley here at Texas Motor Speedway, where NASCAR's brightest stars are poised to qualify. And points leader Jimmie Johnson hopes to stand tall as the lone star once again, as he did here 1 year ago. NASCAR fans on their feet at Texas Motor Speedway. Oh, trouble on the racetrack, heavy contact.
Down.
Oh, spin off of turn 4. Trouble the 20 car, 38 involved. Harvey gets through.
Come on.
Everybody stacking up, getting sideways.
We're done, boys. Go. Get to the grass.
Here comes Jimmie Johnson on the bottom of the racetrack. Can he hang there?
Go get you some cowboy hats there, bud.
This is two of the best in the business going at it right here.
Johnson clears him with 2 laps to go. Jimmie Johnson has driven the wheels off his Chevy, and he will win at Texas Motor Speedway.
Hey, crew, you guys won this race. That fast pit stop, that's what did it. Jimmy, great driving there, buddy.
We welcome you to our live ESPN coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series pole qualifying from Texas Motor Speedway. We call it the Great American Speedway here in Fort Worth, Texas. Cars are all lined up on pit road, getting set to go out. With 3 races remaining in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, Jimmie Johnson has the largest points lead in chase history over Carl Edwards, 183 points. You see where they practiced there, and of course down the line there you see Jeff Gordon was the quickest car in practice. He has never won a pole or a race here. With restrictor plates limiting horsepower at Daytona and Talladega, this is the fastest track of all in NASCAR. That was the pole speed by Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in April, and that means qualifying here can be very, very frightening. With more, here's Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, qualifying at Texas Motor Speedway is a white-knuckle experience. It takes a driver's breath away. Just ask Michael McDowell. You remember back in the springtime qualifying here, he found himself flipping down the racetrack. But because of the safety innovations of the new car and, of course, the safer barrier, Michael McDowell walked away unscathed. Now, because of rain, these drivers here have not qualified for the past few weeks. They are chomping at the bit to give it a shot and go for the pole, and for good reason. There's a pretty cool trophy on the line. Right, Mike Massaro?
Yeah, I'd say, Jamie. In fact, at the Texas Motor Speedway, there's a direct correlation between horsepower and firepower. This is the trophy you win if you win the pole. It's a $65,000 Beretta shotgun, and you can see it's hand engraved in Italy. Take a look at this. Right here, that's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s face. He was awarded this shotgun a little bit earlier this week, and that took 120 hours to engrave in Italy by Francesca Franzini. She did a wonderful job, and while somebody's going to take this home today, Doc, we're going to have to wait and see who can pull the trigger and who has the bullet out on the speedway in a little while.
Wow, what a great trophy for being able to be the fastest here. You certainly deserve when you get on the pole here at Texas Motor Speedway. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie. Glad to have you with us. And happy Halloween, everyone. You know, when you go in the garage, Jerry, and talk to drivers, it's appropriate it's Halloween. They give me things like, when I qualified Texas, it's scary. It's frightening. It's hold your breath time. And guys said you really feel the sensation of speed here. Why?
Well, you have to get up to speed quickly, and that's going down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. You almost run wide open coming to get to green, because that can mean whether you're going to get on the pole or miss it by just a little bit. That carries a lot of speed down into turn 1. You have to be totally committed if you're going to run a fast lap here, trying to either start up front, get the pole, or get a good starting spot so you can get a good pit selection. So the driver really has to do his job. You literally, it takes your breath here, because you have to get back to the gas so quickly and carry a lot of speed off the corner too.
And that's why the setup is so important here at this racetrack, because the driver does have to make such a major commitment to run fast. He has got to hold that throttle down so long. He's got to make sure when he turns that car into the corner, especially getting into the corner, that the back wheels are not going to fly out from under it, because that's where we saw the 0-0 crash when Michael McDowell crashed. That's where it started, getting into the corner. So as long as you can get in okay, then most of the rest of the lap will be fine.
Michael McDowell was remarkably okay. The car of tomorrow, all the safety innovations there, the safer barrier, the Hans device, he walked away with it, came back with half a race car. Qualifying can be an adventure here, which we're going to have coming your way in just a moment. Now, coming up, more motorsports coverage for the weekend. NASCAR nationwide action tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Cup Series happy hour, 6 Eastern. NHRA action from Las Vegas. Rounding out tomorrow night's coverage at 10 o'clock Eastern time. NASCAR Now Sunday 10 a.m. kicks off our race day coverage. And, of course, the Dickies 500 at Texas on ABC Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. NHRA action at 7 Eastern, wrapping it up. Bright sunshine here at Texas Motor Speedway, getting set for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. 48 cars will be lined up to go out to qualify. 13 of those are in the category of those that must get in on time and speed. We call them go or go home, as they got to go, or they'll load up and go home. And some of these drivers in this group that have to get in on time and speed were very impressive in that first practice session earlier today.
You can see A.J. Allmendinger was second quickest in the practice. Marcus Ambrose fifth quickest in that Michael Waltrip Racing, which was the 00 car.
Joe Nemechek, seventh. We got a lot of fast cars in this group.
Max Pappas was 48. Of course, Max, the open wheel ace, had come from Formula One and IndyCar action, had been very good on the road courses. Run a limited schedule in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, but trying to get in, and they're going to hope to run an 18-race schedule next year with a Toyota Camry with a little help out of the Michael Waltrip stable. Let's check in where Mike is caught up with the guy who won last week and here back in the spring.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be considered a favorite, not only based upon what he did here in the spring, but what he's done all year long on Mile and a Half Speedway. He's getting a little debriefing from a guy who's been pretty good in terms of qualifying. You know, maybe touching Ryan Newman might help you out here. What do you got for qualifying?
I don't know. I think it's pretty good. You know, this Office Depot Fusion was real fast in practice. Bob and the guys have been working real hard, and you know, they give away a shotgun, and everybody on the team wants. I told Bob, if we can get this pole, he can have this shotgun. So hopefully that motivated him a little bit. And I don't know about our draw. You know, it is pretty shady down there right now. But if it runs like it did in practice, I think we got a good shot at it.
You mentioned the shotgun, so of course everybody wants that because, you know, obviously it's a nice little thing to take home. But also starting up front seems to be pretty important. How important is track position here?
The pit stall selection's bigger, I think, than the track position, you know. This will be the first time we've qualified in a while, so all the guys in the chase will get, you know, hopefully spread out a little bit in the field. And as long as we can be in front of the other guys, that'll be good. But I think it's a pit stall selection that's the big thing here.
Carl Edwards, he was third fastest in practice this morning, Doc. He's got a shot, that's for sure.
Everybody talks about the pit stall position, and time again, you know, we talk about the race off of pit road. You don't have to go very far if you got that first pit.
Yeah, we've seen that the last few weeks. Jimmy Johnson has had that stall, and it's important everywhere we go to get that stall because you can just roll right across the line, and you can have a pit stop that may be even a second or two slower and still get out in front of these guys.
DJ, what's it like being the first guy out? I mean, it's going to be Elliott Sadler in a qualifying session where you're just waiting and wondering, you know, and sitting there and waiting for him to tell the flip the switch.
It's terrible. About the worst feeling you can have on a Friday, other than the fact of being a go or go homer. That's a terrible feeling now. But Elliott is not liking this situation. It's just, man, when you see that sheet come back and you're looking, you never look at first. You always look down the list to see where your car is. And if you can't find your number, then you have to go to that unfortunate spot, which is the first one. This racetrack's been sitting here for 2 hours since we finished practice and only gotten hotter.
And here's the worst news for Elliott Sadler. In the practice session this morning, he was 45th in his Stanley Tools Dodge, and that's from a guy who was a previous winner here back in 2004.
Not only that, but he's normally a really, really good qualifier. They didn't run a lot of laps like they were in practice mode. It looked like they were trying to qualify, but he didn't get a lot of laps out there. So really surprising that they've struggled this much. Maybe they've got it fixed here, and we'll see with Elliott. Again, unfortunate draw, but we'll see how that works for him.
This practice time was 29.76. Like you said, that wasn't very far up, so we'll see if he can improve on that. He's going to want to improve on it quite a bit.
Yeah, now we did hear Carl Edwards talk about some shade, and it has shaded over down in just as you enter turn 1-2. The sun's still out here bright, but because of all the suites and condos down in that corner, the sun is being blocked in that part, but the rest of it looks like it's been out in the sun for quite a while here. For the entire 2 hours, we have no clouds basically around today.
If I had to pick one spot on the track I'd like to have shade, it'd be turn 1. Getting into that corner can be tricky.
Elliott Sadler has started on the front row here 3 times.
He picks up a lot from practice. He picked up 3/4 of a second.
Man, that's pretty impressive. And being the first car out, that only has to tell these guys getting ready to go that the track's in really good shape. They can go try to
breath.
Just like we said, it will take your breath.
Yeah. Yeah, I've come back in here before and not been able to talk by that time because it's it takes your breath. You get back on pit road and it's like, give me a second. You don't even want to get out of the car and do an interview because you don't want everybody to know that you're totally out of breath.
Here's Jamie McMurray, who has been really good on mile-and-a-half racetracks recently with top 10 finishes at both Charlotte and Atlanta. And as you watch him get up to speed, you heard Carl Evers talk about the draw. Now, these guys going early, Carl will be the 7th car to go out. Good or bad draw to go early?
Well, you got to think it's not the best draw. It can turn out to be okay. It can turn out to be just even across the board, but it's probably no advantage going early.
Yeah, there's no advantage to it. Look at Jamie McMurray really hustling this car. Man, you can see him almost get into the wall off turn 4. He must have been carrying a lot of speed, like we talked about, was important.
You talked about being good on mile-and-a-half. This team's been good everywhere. They were great at Martinsville and had a little mechanical failure, but this team has really been great.
Yeah, and this lap's going to be way faster than our fastest lap in practice that was set by Jeff Gordon.
Oh, yeah, this is the fastest lap of the day.
3 and 4, sorry.
Don't apologize for that lap.
Yeah, I might have missed just a little. You could see that he had quite a bit more speed built up, or time difference in between he and Elliott Sadler's lap. So he did lose a little bit of time there, but that's right at 2/10 quicker than Jeff Gordon ran here earlier today.
Elliott Sadler able to get his breath and climb out. Jamie McMurray, by the way, 3 poles in his career. His last pole coming at Infineon back in June of 2007. This would be his first pole of the 2008 season if he could hold on.
The track's in great shape. This is good news for everybody that's getting ready to qualify here. So it's going to give the drivers a lot of confidence to go out there and really hold the throttle down.
Here's Kevin Harvick, who has been very successful at this racetrack in the Nationwide Series. He's won 4 times, including 3 in a row, as yet to go to victory lane here in the Cup car.
You saw right there, that green where the gas is, he wasn't out of that gas very long. We'll see him drive off into turn 1 here. He's going to roll out of the throttle here.
Well, he finally did. He's going to go back to it pretty quick.
Yeah, just a little bit of brake. Pretty good lap going there. Jamie, you're with our first qualifier, Elliott Sadler?
Yeah, we heard him on the radio say, man, I'm out of breath. What's it like being the first car out, especially after a few weeks of not qualifying?
Yeah, it's Texas is a fun place to qualify, but I mean, you're really pushing the car the whole time. So going at first is never a good thing because the track's they're pretty greasy for us. But that's a lot faster than we ran in practice. Like, guys, we made some changes, so we're not going to qualify where we wanted to because we're already 3rd right now. But we definitely think we learned some things for the race. So this Stanley Dodge will be fine in the race. I was out of breath, yeah.
The good news for Elliott Sadler, he knows how to get around this racetrack. He won back in 2004, Doc.
He certainly did, and Kevin Harvick comes down 2nd quickest in his Chevrolet at a 28.986 second lap, 186 miles per hour. Back with more qualifying in just a moment. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series pole qualifying continuing in Texas Motor Speedway. Here's the 12 car, Ryan the Rocket Man Newman. He has 43 career poles to his credit.
How about standing on the gas when it comes time to qualify? That's what this guy knows. You see him get a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 right there. Didn't crack the throttle, but he's off of Jamie McMurray's pace.
2-time pole sitter at this racetrack, won both poles in 2005. He won the race here in 03.
He lost some time down in 3 also. You can see in the middle of that. He's right now the slowest car so far, 29.08.
Let's check in with Jamie McMurray. Jamie.
Well, he came on the radio and he apologized to the team. Why were you apologizing, Jamie?
Well, I didn't give him a very good 3 and 4, and going out second, it's really tough to lay down a lap, and you don't know how much grip the track's going to have. But I got through 1 and 2 good, and then I got to 3 and 4, and I just didn't hit my marks. And it just seems like on all these tracks qualifying, there's a groove a foot wide at the bottom. If you can get your left front on it, there's a lot more grip than there was where I was at on the track. So I think it's going to end up okay, but I wish I'd had a better 3 and 4.
All right, Jamie McMurray, some impressive runs the last few weeks, Doc.
Yeah, sometimes it makes it a little bit difficult. You get a good 1 and 2, then you carry more speed off down in 3 and 4, Sandy. Sometimes it makes it tough to hit that line you want to.
Well, that's the thing. It's all relative. It's relative to the speed of the car. And if you're carrying more speed, sometimes the driver thinks that he missed the line, but actually carried good speed off the corner.
Here's Denny Hamlin coming off back-to-back top 5 finishes in the last 2 chase races. 3rd at Atlanta, 5th at Martinsville. Has never started in the top 5 at this racetrack in 6 previous attempts.
A nice little run off the corner there. He's not going to get the pole, but a nice little run. Second quickest. 28.95.
All of these cars are just running one lap. They could run a second lap if they wanted to, but you can see they're all just taking the one.
Yeah, you can't hold your breath for 2 laps. You can for 1.
Mike?
Well, guys, it's easy to pick out the favorites for the pole today, but how about the dark horses? Paul Menard was 8th on the speed chart in practice today. Can you pull off the upset and take the pole?
Sure like to. You know, the Johns Manville Menard Chevy drove good all practice. Did a little bit of air pressure stuff for this qualifying session. Everybody's picking up, and I think it's hotter out, so we'll have to pick up, obviously, also, and that's always hard to do with the track temp a little bit warmer, but like I said, it's driving good, and we'll see what we got.
Put up a pretty big number in practice. Short a man. Your crew chief, from what I understand, away in an Ironman competition?
Yeah, Doug's in, I think he's in Florida doing an Ironman, a full Ironman. You know, 26-mile run, 100 and some mile bike ride, and like a 2-mile swim. So he's a nut when it comes to all that stuff, but he'll be up here on Sunday calling the race.
Paul Menard trying to be the Ironman this afternoon, guys.
Let's see if Kurt Busch can thread his way around the racetrack. He had a near miss just coming to the green flag a moment ago.
He had to get out of the throttle right there because our line is going down. So that's the worst place that you can really have a problem with qualifying because you lose all the speed down that straightaway.
Really loose there, and you can tell he's lost grip, so this is really hurting this lap tremendously. I think we saw a lot with Ryan Newman, a lot the same way. He got loose off of 2 and then wasn't able to get through down in 3 and 4 is good. So really 1 corner is about all of these guys are getting at. Actually 2 corners. They're running so hard through 3 and 4. So Kurt Busch comes in 29.27, which is 6th.
Same car, he had a great run at Charlotte when he finished 3rd.
This will be the next car will be the true test for the racetrack. Carl Edwards was 3rd quick in practice, and we'll see what the track will hold. He ran a 28.99 in practice. He's got to pick up from that to beat Jimmy McMurray.
And I think exactly what you talked about earlier. Getting that car tight enough to run around here is going to be the key. You can't run these kind of speeds with a loose race car. The car hung out not for qualifying in this type of situation. You have to have some stability in that to be able to drive it down in there, turn on the steering wheel, and get back in the gas. Track temperature's gone up to about 101 degrees now, too.
Same car Carl won with at Michigan back in August. His mom, Nancy Sterling, there watching on, pulling for her son to put it on the pole. Carl wanted that coveted first pit pick.
Looks like Carl Edwards gave this car a chance to stick. You see the green into turn 1. He's not able to hold it off the corner. It's not going to get Jamie McMurray here.
He's showing just how good Jamie was through turns 1 and 2. He said he nailed that, and he really got off of that corner. And all of these guys are losing down the backstretch, off of turn 2 and down the backstretch to Jamie's time. Second quickest there for Carl, 28.94.
Well, Carl won it here in the spring, dominating, leading 123 laps, but he will not start from the inside of row 1 on Sunday. Motor Speedway rookie candidate Regan Smith, who was leading rookie points until last week. 0-1 car out of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Has had only 1 trip of this racetrack, that coming back in the spring, where he started 34th and finished 35th.
Good line around the racetrack there.
29 flat.
Good lap for him. That's 5th quickest right now.
Like I said, his line looked good as a relatively uneventful lap.
And that's saying something when you can go around here and not have anything bad to report or look like you had a big scare at any time having to jump out of the throttle.
Again, these cars at the top are the ones that are guaranteed starting spots. You're guaranteed in the top 35 in owners points. We will get to the bottom of qualifying, where of the 48 cars we got, the final 13, that's where it's hold your breath time for those guys that have got to get in on time and speed.
Yeah, this pole run, as we see these cars going for it, is important, but that's going to be exciting when we get down to those guys, because we're going to send some good cars home here. We've got a lot of young guys trying to make the field here.
5 of them are not going to make it.
Well, 1 year ago at this racetrack, it was Martin Truex, this driver, who qualified at 193.1 miles an hour, put it on the pole and finished 3rd in the race. Had a great weekend at Texas.
This is the first car we've seen that's been driving down into 1 in the green, but he's able to hold it and actually increase. He's gonna scare this pole position right here of Jamie McMurray's, if not take it. Right here is where Jamie thought he was vulnerable, is off the corner.
He's going to get him by just a little bit. There he goes to the top.
There you go, Wild Man. P1.
200s.
Hell of a job today, fellas.
Yeah, you saw 200 miles per hour getting down into turn 1, too, so it's a fast corner. Jamie?
Oh, boy.
Jamie?
And Carl Edwards talking to his crew chief, Bob Osborne, about what just went down. Let's go over here, though. I want to talk to Denny Hamlin. He was just talking to Carl about last weekend and what happened on that restart. You guys still reliving that moment, Denny?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I could have done different, but our cars just didn't like those cycles on those tires on that caution. But I'm just happy with the way we ran. We ran really well and put ourselves in position to win the race. We just didn't quite get it done.
What do you think so far? You have a car capable like last week?
Always. When we come here to Texas, we always seem to run well. So qualifying's not our forte, but we always race good.
All right, now Carl's ready to talk to us. Carl, you're talking to Bob Osborne, your crew chief. So what'd you think about your qualifying run there?
My car was real good. I got a little greedy and tried just a little bit too hard, thinking that I could make something happen. I might have cost us a 10th or so, but it's amazing that by Jamie. And I guess Martin's lap was even better. So that's a great race car right there, though. We're not the best qualifiers. We didn't get a shotgun, but hopefully we'll get a good pit stall selection and have a really good race.
Carl, you have a high heel on the side of your car. I think you have a spa sponsoring you this weekend?
Yeah, that's yeah, that's right. We do. It's Mystique Salon and Spa. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It's okay.
But you're in touch with your feminine side. He's getting married. He's learning, boys, right? You've been there.
Greg Biffle may not be sponsored by a spa, but they did a lot of massaging to the race car. How good is it in qualifying, Trim?
Well, I don't know yet. We've continued to make some adjustments. Our teammates were a little better than us. We actually looked at Jamie and Carl's setup, and David just put down a pretty good time. We think it's pretty good. The temperature's starting to cool off. I think that we're going to put down a pretty good lap.
25th on the speed chart. What were you still looking for?
Just a little bit loose down in the corner, and then when it got down in the corner, I wanted to slide the nose up the hill. So we made some adjustments, hopefully not too loose down in, hopefully not like Michael McDowell, but a little tighten it up down in and get it to turn once it gets down in that corner.
Doc, I don't think anybody wants to compare themselves to Michael McDowell and what he went through back in the spring, that's for sure.
Not at all. You don't want to, none of us want to see that again. That was a horrific impact. Here's Bobby Labonte, the Texas native out of Corpus Christi. Two-time pole sitter at this racetrack, and surprisingly, Bobby has not won here at his home track. He has come close, though, 4 or 5 times with top 5 finishes.
He picks up a lot from practice, but he's still just 10th overall so far.
Still plenty of cars yet to go in qualifying. Right now, it is Martin Truex Jr., McMurray, and Carl Edwards at top 3. There is the guy they're all chasing, Martin Truex Jr. And there is the Spa machine, the Ford Mystique Fusion for Carl Edwards. On the racetrack at Texas Motor Speedway for his shot at the front row in the 55 car, and you just can't say enough about how well this whole team and Michael in particular have been running. And he ran that car last week at Atlanta. Of course, had some issues with the wall and also didn't have a tire problem, but this whole operation has gotten better.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we should expect to see and continued success for these guys as they get more time. We tend to forget because of all the hype and everything that went on with building this race team. It was built from scratch, and pretty good lap for Michael. He's 3rd quickest there, 28.94. So a nice lap for him. Nice run last week, but we just see he and David both having good runs. Marcus Ambrose is here in that other car of theirs this weekend. Had a fast time in practice. So I think we're only going to continue to see better things from this organization.
They certainly are deserving. They have worked very, very hard here in these first couple of years. Let's go visit with our provisional pole sitter, Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr. was talking to his team, all pretty pumped up. They said they worked hard to get this. How bad do you want that shotgun?
I want it pretty bad. I got one, but I'd like to get one for Bono. So the car was real good. We had a tough practice. We were pretty far off when we unloaded, and we just kept working on it and working on it. And we got really good there at the end, but we were out of tires and we were out of time. So you just never know what you're going to have. And we threw a few more things at it, and it was pretty close right there. So not sure how fast the track will get, but I want to thank Johnny and Bass Pro and everybody back home and in Springfield, and for sticking with us. Hopefully we'll get the pole. If not, we'll have a good day on Sunday.
Hey, how about those Phillies?
How about them? It was awesome. I went Monday night. I was there at the game, and it's cool, really cool to be part of it. And It's too bad it got rained out. I didn't get to the back on Wednesday, but I was cheering him on the couch for sure.
Been a great week so far for Martin Truex Jr. We'll see if it continues here today, Doc.
Certainly has. Here's the 44 car, David Rudiman, and we were hearing in the garage here, they said anybody in the top 10 in that practice has a shot at the pole. Well, Rudiman was 9th in the practice session. Let's see what he can pull off.
Don't quite get the pole, but he does pick up from what he ran in practice, 28.92, so nice effort.
Just edges out his teammate, Michael Waltrip.
And car owner, so that's nice when you can beat your owner. That's kind of job security there, I'd say. You know, as long as you're outrunning the owner, you're doing pretty good.
If he likes you, then you are. Unless he told you not to outrun me. '38 car, David Gilliland going out. One of the Yates Racing stable. This team hopes to have 3 cars on the racetrack in 2009 with the addition of Paul Menard.
Sponsorship this weekend from City Financial. See, not out of it. You get a little bit of break there. He's coming to get the green flag. You have to be in the gas a lot here. Really carry a lot of speed off here. That can mean the difference in 2 3/10 of a second if you don't get back to the gas very quick there and come to get the green flag.
Same car they ran at Charlotte back at the beginning of October, where they ran extremely well, right in the top 15 for much of the evening there on Saturday night.
Had a good turn 1. He lost a little bit in turn 2 and down the back stretch, but he's got a pretty decent lap going. See, it was in the green all the way through turn 1, basically.
He lost a lot of time right there trying to get back to the throttle, though. Not carrying enough speed off of turn 4. I don't know if his car got a little bit loose at that point in time. He's going to clock in 12th quickest, 29.131.
You're not seeing anybody go for that second lap yet.
And we still have it.
Right now, it's Martin Truex Jr., McMurray, Rudiman, Waltrip, and Edwards in the top 5. Car on the racetrack, and drivers were talking about the draw and why it was important to be able to get some cooler track. What about the track temperature? What's going on here in terms of since the time we started?
Kind of all over the place. You see, it was 97 basically when we started, and then it was 101, and now it's 93.
Getting cooled down a little bit. That just translates into some more grip.
Actually, qualifying didn't start until 3:37 or 4:37, so see what the track has done.
Yeah, it's cooled off about 8 degrees so far. So we're only 15 cars into it.
Paul Menard, who won his first career pole at Daytona back in July.
Clocks in 3rd quickest. Nice run for Paul Menard.
Means that DEI has 2 of the top 3 cars. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated with Truex Jr. Quickest thus far and Menard 3rd overall.
Got to be encouraging for Mark Martin, who goes later.
All seem to really step things up here recently. You know, they made the announcement that he was going over to Doug Yates Racing next year, but they haven't let that slow them down any. They've been fast in practice sessions, and we obviously haven't qualified very much recently, but had some good race cars during the races, too.
Next got to go out is the 16 car, and early in the week on NASCAR Now, Dale Jarrett said this is the guy to keep an eye on for Sunday.
Well, hopefully he won't be like our pick last week, Andy. When we picked Junior, he's hated to hear that. But I hadn't talked to Greg about that. And y'all keep bringing up all of these bad finishes he had. I think he's going to do extremely well. This is the type of racetrack that Greg Biffle just seems to shine at, and I really looked, even though they were off last week, I look for him to have a good race on Sunday and a chance at winning.
He did win here back in the spring of 2005, but he has struggled the last 2 times he came here, and you see Greg Irwin up there really cheering his driver on.
He lost some time right there off turn 4. Still a decent lap. That's 9th quick out of 16.
Yeah,
They're tight 3-4, I can see it.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, man, it was really good. Cross 1 and 2. Sorry about that. Shoot, I thought I had it.
Yeah, he had a top, definitely a top 5, probably about a 3rd place run going until he got tight off of turn 4. That just means he didn't have to come out of the throttle, but he just had to put more steering input into it, and when you do that, that just scrubs off some speed. And we're talking about tenths of a second here, so it's not that much. Right there, that lap that he ran is just over 2/10 of a second slower than Martin Truex's pole speed.
Here's Casey Mears, and Casey has earned the second most points among drivers not in the chase. I mean, in this second half of the year, Casey, this whole team has gotten it done. He finished 6th at Martinsville, 12th last week at Atlanta after running in the top 10 much of the day.
Nice run going here for Casey. This has been a good racetrack for him over the years. He might not have the finishes to show it, but I think he's performed and competed really well here.
5th. That's a pretty good lap. 93.
By the way, we mentioned speculation that it might be Mark Martin in this car at Homestead. It will be Casey Mears in this car. He will finish out the year. Mark Martin will drive this car in 2009 and try to run for the championship. Mark said earlier today that he will run this race and Phoenix, and he will be done for the season right now. There's no plans on him coming to Homestead, Miami for the finale.
He's the first driver that had any breath left in him to run a second lap.
Yeah. And he's wishing he hadn't now. They tell him what that time was. He slows down about 0.2 of a second.
If you're going to run a 90, you need to run a low 90 because you've got a 92 that's 4th, and all the way back to Kevin Harvick, who's 11th at a 98.
We saw this in practice. There were a lot of these guys stacking up with times very similar, just hundredths of a second, and down to the thousandth of a second, separating 6 or 7 guys. It's amazing. You have speeds of this around a 1.5 mile racetrack, different race cars, different drivers and everything, and we have this many drivers be this close.
Here's Dave Blaney, the 22 car, the Bill Davis Racing Toyota. 301st career start. Same car they ran at Charlotte back early in the month when they were running in the top 15 much of the night. They ended up finishing 27th. And we might have mentioned earlier in our practice show, this whole team, whoops, that's the splitter rubbing there, guys?
Yeah, he's bottoming out pretty hard to get in the corner. And this car struggled in practice. You can see there why they may have been struggling.
Yeah, they might see that now and understand a little bit more about it. You can see once again entering the corner, that splitter hitting it, just literally you just well take the steering wheel out of your hand because you really don't have any control as to where it's going then.
Completely unloads the front tires when that splitter hits the ground, and you need that load on those front tires to make grip.
And the result is the slowest lap thus far in qualifying. He is 18th among the 18 cars that have gone out. When we come back, Mark Martin, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Stewart and more, they're all going to be chasing this guy who's at the top of the speed chart right now. Qualifying continuing at Texas Motor Speedway. Scott Riggs will be the 19th car to take time. There are 48 cars here. If you do the math, that means that there were 5 will not make it. This 66 car is one of those that is guaranteed a starting spot and some sparks from beneath his Chevrolet.
That wasn't the splitter. You see the sparks coming out from under the car. That's usually the frame, hard parts underneath the car that are hitting the ground. It's just as bad as hitting the splitter.
Yeah, it's not quite. For some reason, it doesn't seem to react quite as bad to me as that splitter hitting. I don't know why that is.
Well, the splitter is out farther. It's got a leverage point that's out farther. If it hits, it can really unload the tires. That cross member is basically at the actual center line underneath the car.
Third quickest for Scott Riggs, so apparently didn't upset the car very much at all because that is one very good lap. How about the guy who had the quickest lap in practice earlier today? Mike?
Yeah, how about it? Of course, that's Jeff Gordon, the fastest in practice. How perfect do you need to be to make that speed stand up to win this pole?
Well, obviously, I got to be more perfect than I was in practice because the 26 really stepped it up. You know, the track really, other than in the shade, I don't think it's changed a whole lot. So we got it so close that final lap with this DuPont Nicorette Chevrolet that I told Steve and the guys, man, let's not risk it. Let's not change it. We got it really good that last lap. And so, I don't know, might make a few little air pressure adjustments. But I felt like there's a few things I could have done the lap to go a little faster. And we'll just wait and see here. We got a good draw and try to take advantage of it.
And Doc, after what transpired in the spring, finishing 43rd, winning the pole right now will be awfully big for Jeff Gordon.
That would be huge for a driver that's never won a pole or a race here. Here's Mark Martin next to the last performance in 2008, and he was pretty good in that practice session as well.
Yeah, he was 12th quickest, and you could see as he was coming to get the green that he had beat Martin Truex by just a little bit, but Andy, he drove it in there pretty far.
Yeah, it looks like he paid the price on the exit turn 2, and then 3 and 4 he lost a lot of time. 12th fastest.
Like when you get in that hard, you use up a lot of your tire right then, and then you just can't recover from that point on.
Sorry, didn't do better. It'll be better than last time, but not by much. I'm sorry about that. Hell, that was good, Tony. Just like practice.
Don't you love Mark Martin? He's such a, with all the accomplishments he has in his career, he's still so very, very humble.
He is. He's a great race car driver, and he's the kind of driver that you can build a strong organization around because he's an elevator. He pumps these guys up.
Here is Kyle Busch, who qualified third here back in April, finished third, has yet to win at this racetrack. He won the NASCAR Nationwide Series race here in the spring. Coming off that top 5 finish at Atlanta a week ago.
He got a little bit loose right there in the center of the corner. He's able to carry some pretty good speed off, but you see him losing time to the pole sitter.
See, Martin Truex must have gotten off turn 2 really well because that's where a lot of the cars are losing time. Off of 2 and down the backstretch.
Yeah, and even off of 4, you saw him get really close to the wall right there.
15th. That's a surprise there. I would have thought he would qualify better.
It was looking like that he had a better lap going than that, but he really lost a lot of time on the exit of turn 4. And by the time you get to the start-finish line, that translates into a lot of speed.
Points leader Jimmy Johnson headed out to qualify. The question is, can he continue to pull ahead and surge toward a record 3rd consecutive championship? Trying to tie Cale Yarborough. Coverage for stop number 8 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup coming your way Sunday, 3 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. The Dickies 500 at Texas.
This will be a car that Martin Truex and his team are going to be paying close attention to right here if they're going to try to win the pole.
First 3 times Jimmy drove this car this year, it set on the pole and won the race at Indianapolis, California, and Kansas.
It's been their go-to car. Everything's dancing around a little bit, though, through the middle of turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, lost a little bit of time, just like you said, Andy, off of turn 2.
Just a little bit. He's about a 10th behind, getting into 3. All right, here's another place. Truex got off of 4 real well.
Yeah, and that's, you can see him struggle a little bit down into 3 and getting back to the throttle. Picking up a lot of speed here, but not going to be quite enough to get the pole.
And see Truex, he doesn't know if he wants to hear it. It's good news, Mark.
2880, that's P3 right there.
Now that also means that the points leader will not get the first pit pick, and that could be huge on Sunday in terms of advantage on pit road. More qualifying from Texas when we come back in just a moment. The winner at this racetrack 2 falls ago, Tony Stewart, 2-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, out for his qualifying effort. In practice, Tony was 17th quickest. His lap a 29.15. Of course, all these guys really picking up here with the track cooling down.
Good lap so far for Tony. It's not going to be on the pole, but looks pretty solid to this point. You can just see it headed back the right direction off of 4 down the front stretch.
That's the first car we've seen been able to do that.
Yeah.
4. Yeah, good job.
Nice lap there. Good pickup for Tony Stewart from practice.
Might have gotten a bit of a cloud coming over to be able to get a little bit of more of a shadow and cooling this place down a little bit. Very temperamental. We just joined our coverage. This is the fastest track in all of NASCAR with restrictor plates limiting horsepower in Daytona and Talladega. The pole run back in the spring here for Dale Earnhardt Jr. over 190 miles an hour is the fastest pole of the year.
Casey Kane, you saw him get back to the gas really quick coming to get to green here. This has been a good racetrack for him in qualifying. Obviously winning race 2. Or running fast here.
Casey is the only driver to win a race at this racetrack from the pole. Did it in the fall of spring of 2006, I should say, and led 270 laps.
This will be a lot better lap than he got in practice. Now he's still losing a little bit off of turn 4.
It seemed like it happened good for a little while. Yeah, it sure did. Looked like he had a good lap. It lost a lot of time there.
It's still about 4 tenths faster than practice, but still 17th.
Let's check in with our points leader, Jamie.
And because he's been the points leader, he started on the pole the last 3 weeks in a row. Finally, he got to come out and do a qualifying lap. Jimmy, what is the most challenging part of a qualifying lap here?
I'd say really anticipating what the grip level is going to be like. You see a big number like the one car put out. You know what you ran in practice, you know the adjustments that have been made, and then you try to compute that all and say, okay, this is my mark was here, and now I'm going to try to go to here and hope it sticks. So getting out there and remembering those things and executing is really the tough part. But when you have a great race car like I did today, you go out and do a good job with it, and you know, good lap. Hopefully it'll stay there in the top 5. But very, very good race. Cobalt Tools, Chevrolet, and looking forward to the weekend.
He came on the radio and said he did a lot of things right. He wasn't sure why they weren't faster, but you heard him. He's happy with the top 5.
Thank you, Jamie. Here is a guy that we all talk about being very good at this racetrack, and that is Matt Kenseth, the winner here back in 2002. He finished 9th here back in the spring, 2nd last fall, and has had 4 top 5s in the last 6 races here.
This is my pick for Sunday, and he usually doesn't qualify that well. He's going to get a great lap right here.
Wow, nice.
3rd.
Well, when you get Matt that well, starting that close to the front, he is going to be a factor, as you said, on Sunday afternoon. What about Juan Pablo Montoya, who had such a good race going until some misfortune late last week? Mike.
And trying to put that all behind him right now, Doc. He goes pretty good in practice, 4th quickest. How much do you anticipate the racetrack's changed as this sun has begun to set?
I don't know. It should, you know, the truck is a little faster. It's about 2 or 3 times faster than what it was in practice. You know, Texas Goblin Dodge has been really good for us. Last week we had a great car. This week we got a good car. So I don't know. We were like 4th fastest in practice. So, you know, I think if we can stay within top 10 in qualifying would be great. I think we got a shot at it, but I'd rather just go out and see what we can do.
When you say you think you have a shot at it, how realistic is the pole?
You go out there and the car feels good, and you can get that extra push, and the car stays underneath you, then you will. If you give the push and goes away, then you don't. You know, it's got to be just right. Somebody always gets it just right.
And Doc, it seems like Juan Pablo has adapted himself pretty well to this style of racetrack. Qualified 3rd here in this event a year ago, and as we saw last week in Atlanta, he was pretty strong.
Very strong, Mike, exactly. Here's Brian Vickers, who qualified on the pole at Michigan back in August. That was the 2nd fastest qualifying lap of the season, aside from the one run by Earnhardt here in the spring.
I'm amazed at how close this qualifying session is. These cars are just stacked right together. That's another 90, 28.90, 28.92.
What about the track temps, guys? They gave the track a Tylenol. The fever's coming down.
Yeah, you see the air temperature's coming down just a little bit, but the track temperature is a big thing. That's what you're looking at. When you see that track temp come down, there's more grip.
26 cars have gone thus far in qualifying. 48 are here. Final 13 are the ones that have to get in on time and speed. Here is a 2-time, one of only 2 drivers that have won this race twice. Won at Texas twice. Jeff Burton, the 31 car, along with Carl Edwards.
Jeff will be the first one to tell you that this qualifying is not their strong suit. They race really well. Be interesting to see. Didn't have a very fast lap in practice, but could pick it up here. So we've seen a lot of cars that spend a lot of time in race type practice, pick it up quite a bit, but doesn't have a fast lap going right at this point in time.
You know, in spring when he came here, he qualified 35th, finished 6th. Last year in this race, he qualified 27th, finished 6th.
Yeah, that's Jeff Burton at his best.
He's still not going to be happy with this lap. That's just 25th quick so far.
Yeah, so I'm not even sure 35th. You know, it's just setting up with that track temperature coming down and everything that we might see one of the guys that have to qualify on time to make the race really have a legitimate shot at winning the pole.
Well, if you look at A.J. Allmendinger, he was the 2nd fastest car in practice, and he goes late. And that track's going to be cool, so he's going to have a shot.
And Marcus Ambrose, that would be an exciting ceremony, wouldn't it, if the Australian could somehow get that car. And he was very good. He was 5th overall in that practice session. Here's Clint Boyer in the 07 car. See what Clint can do. One of our chase contenders, 7th right now in the chase points. Big disappointment last week in Atlanta, coming home in 20th. Cost him 2 spots in the standings.
Yeah, they struggled on the racetrack at Atlanta most of the day, and then had that little bit of contact with the 42 car late in the race. It's just not a very good day for them. Saw a little smoke there.
Yeah, you saw him. He's bottoming out just a little bit, but he's got a great lap going. Look at this down the backstretch. He's right there. If he can carry this speed through 3 and 4, he's going to have a shot at this pole. It's going the right way.
It'll be close right here.
Right there at it. Can he hang on? And, oh,
wow. Wow.
Second quickest.
Just 2/100ths of a second.
54, you just missed it, buddy. Hell of a lap.
Yes, it was.
That's Gil Martin, and obviously he may not be at the front, but Clint Boyer will be able to see the green flag clearly before he starts on.
Yeah, it's actually exactly the same time as Jamie McMurray qualified, but Clint's going to be ahead of Jamie because of points.
I say all these times are just so close.
Let's check in with Matt Kenseth. Jamie.
Well, Matt Kenseth was talking to Jimmy Johnson. He came up here, and you guys were talking about turn 4. I hear a lot about that. What's so challenging about that particular corner?
Well, just getting into 3 most of the day. Most of it, I think, is the wind. You know, you got a headwind going into 1, so you can drive in real deep because your ground speed's a little slower. Then into 3 with that tailwind, you know, you want to drive in just as far, but you just have a hard time getting it turned down into the corner. So, yeah, I got to mess it up a little bit. I didn't get into 3 actually hard enough and got a little bit tight off 4. But overall, that was a great run for us.
Great run for you guys, and our Andy Petrie's picking you to win.
Oh, great. I hope that's a good thing and not a bad thing. We need to win. It's been a while.
All right, it has been a while. Hopefully you'll be right, Andy.
Yeah, I hope so too, Jamie.
Yeah,
we got a contender on the backstretch here.
He sounded real excited. Here's Jeff Gordon, never on the pole, never won a race at Texas, hit at his worst racetrack. He was the quickest car in practice. Can he get it done?
Oh, he's got it. It's going to hold up.
Be close.
Yeah.
200 or 180.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Nicely done, Jeffrey.
28.65. 28.65. We'll talk about it when you come on in.
How can you tell from the car that you're a tenth of a second
It's
faster?
not quite a 10.
You know,
Fast is 72. You ran a 6.5, man. Great lap. Whew, I couldn't tell. I missed 1 just a little bit. Nailed 3 and 4. Come to the green and on the lap. Great job today, guys. Proud of you.
If it holds up, it would be Jeff Gordon's 3rd pole of the year, the 67th of his career. Back with more qualifying in a moment. Fort Worth, Texas, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying continuing. Right now, Jeff Gordon sits atop of speed charts. Martin Truex Jr., Clint Boyer, Jamie McMurray, and Matt Kenseth at the top 5. Jimmy Johnson, by the way, is 6th right now. Here's the 7 car of Robbie Gordon. Had a bit of an adventure in practice earlier today.
Got off turn 2 just a little hot and got the right rear corner into the wall. He banged it back out and fixed it up. 19th fastest on that lap.
You can see these guys getting more and more confidence in this racetrack, though. Your crew chiefs start telling them the track temp's coming down, and I'm sure that y'all fudge them that just a little bit when you tell the driver that thing.
Yeah, you got to get them pumped up.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, track's going to have a ton of grip, use a lot of throttle, man. Go for it.
Jeff Gordon pretty excited about that run.
He bought it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Bought into it. He knew he had a good race car, though. We talked to him before he went out. He knew that he had the car to do it. Didn't make any changes other than a little bit of air pressure, but nice lap by him. Our 3rd place qualifier, Clint Boyer, is with Jamie.
That's right, DJ. And, you know, qualifying hasn't been RCR's strong suit, but I believe this guy did a heck of a job just now. What did you think, Clint? Did you get everything out of it?
I just got too tight off of 4. I felt like I got through 1 and 2 really good, and Jack Daniels Chevrolet was good. It's been good since we unloaded. Really proud of the guys. I was over that shotgun. Went skeet hunting at Helton's house in Atlanta. He had us over, and we did some skeet shooting last week. I thought, man, it'd be nice to have my own gun to do this, but maybe next time.
How important is it for you to stay in the top 5 to start this race on Sunday?
It's important. I mean, starting up front, pit road, having a good pit stall goes a long ways, and clean air. You know, starting not being behind the 8 ball. You know, all year long when we're qualifying on Fridays, we've been behind the 8 ball because we didn't qualify good. So hats off to Gil and all the guys. Really proud of them.
All right, Clint Boyer, 7th in points right now, guys.
Let's see where Reed Sorensen locks in here, 8th right now. That would be his best start ever at Texas Motor Speedway. 22-year-old Georgian driver. He drove it in the turn. I mean, he drove it hard.
Yeah, he had a great lap going down all the way down the backstretch. He actually lost it through 3 and 4 to come to the line.
Yeah, and I think that this tells us we better watch for Juan Pablo Montoya when he comes up. Even though he was fast in practice too, we knew that coming in. But when you see a teammate like that run fast right there, then we can see that there might be some things on the horizon here. Jeff might ought to be watching out for this guy.
He's going to have his leg in it right here.
Yeah, no holdback in this guy whatsoever. Let's see what Juan Pablo can do with his Dodge.
Kind of like this entry right here, Dale. When you come in high, you got to carry a lot of speed off this corner to the line.
He does that a lot. We see at a lot of different racetracks that he does that. Generally translates into a lot of speed coming to get the green.
Last year in this race, Juan Pablo Montoya qualified third.
He got a little bit too loose right there. He lost some time.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little bit higher than he wanted to get in. I think he carried more speed in there. He just couldn't get the car cut down as soon as he wanted to.
He's coming back at the line. Here he comes.
Yeah, but he might run out of racetrack. Got in just a little bit too hot. Kind of got out of the groove.
So he's going to be disappointed with this lap.
He gave it all he had, though. I think he overdrove it some.
23rd overall for Montoya. Let's check in with Jeff Gordon, Jamie.
Pretty funny radio communication. You said, are you sure we're in Texas? Why is that, Jeff?
We're in Atlanta, right? Yeah, you know, Texas has not been our best track, but today's been a great day for the DuPont Nicorette Chevrolet. We started off, the car felt good, but we just didn't quite have the speed. We worked on it, and that last lap we made, we really hit on something, and it followed through all the way through qualifying. I don't know if that's going to hold up. Track's getting a lot of shade down there 1 and 2, and we got Junior to go. He was on the pole earlier, so, and that's kind of where our setup came from, so he could probably beat us, and maybe somebody else too, but all in all, great run for us.
Jeff, how about this racetrack from the first time you guys come here to this time? Many differences, or are they pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same. You know, I think the biggest difference is this race team and this race car. You know, we've made huge gains since early in the season on the mile and a halves. You know, things that I feel good about, things I'm you know, can be consistent with, and that just is how you give good information back to the team to fine tune, and that's how we go faster. So we're finding it. We're just unfortunately finding it a little bit not quite enough too late, you know, but this is great direction for us, and, you know, a great, hopefully, start to the weekend.
All right, Jeff Gordon trying to break that winless streak, Doc, and this is only one of 2 racetracks he's never won at.
Yeah, here in Homestead, Miami, so trying to get it done here, obviously, with the disappointments he's had here over the years, including 2 43rd place finishes. Scott Speed, 3rd career start in NASCAR Sprint Cup, Martinsville and Atlanta.
He didn't get a very good first lap, so he's going for the 2nd lap. I've only seen one other car do that, and he went slower. It was Casey Mears.
Well, he's going to be slower also, but good experience for Scott. He's in the race. He does slow down.
See, the laps look a lot alike, so that's really probably just the setup, not exactly what he wanted.
Lots of motorsports coming your way this weekend from our family of networks. NASCAR Nationwide Series action tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. Can Carl Edwards inch a little closer? Remember, he trimmed 80 points off Clint Boyer's lead last week at Memphis. NASCAR Sprint Cup happy hour, 6 o'clock Eastern time. NHRA action from Las Vegas at 10 Eastern time Saturday night. NASCAR Now kicking it off Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And then, of course, live flag-to-flag coverage, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Stop number 8 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Dickies 500 at Texas on ABC. And then NHRA action Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. To Mike.
Doc, A.J. Allmendinger has to qualify on speed, but he was real good in practice, 2nd fastest overall. Any concerns as you go out there?
Always. You got to make the race first. It's now, I mean, this country crock butter Dodge was fast, but we know how qualifying is. It takes just one little slip up, and you go from contending for the pole and not even making the race. So just going out there, try to get a solid lap. First thing is to make the race, and after that, hopefully we'll have a good starting spot.
How good is the car?
It's pretty good. I mean, from the first Q run on, it was just really consistent. Didn't really have to make a lot of changes, but it's a fast place. Do what we do. Close our eyes, mash the gas pedal, and see what happens.
It's going to be fun to watch, Doc.
If he's going to close his eyes, it is going to be fun to watch.
Look at the carbon fiber Kevlar composite seat he's sitting in there. Look how different that seat looks.
Now, that's a Hendrick carbon seat. That's the headrest part of that. This is one of the great innovations in safety that we've seen over the years. This seat is extremely strong and make it a lot safer for these guys.
And the best part of the seat, coming from a doctor's standpoint, is it absorbs the energy. It's resilient. It'll actually expand and move and then come back to its normal shape after you take an impact or subsequent impacts. Here is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Sat on the pole here in the spring. When I went in the garage area before coming on air a little bit ago to talk to Tony Eury Jr., he said, we got a shot. Dale Jr. says, we can put this car on the pole. Can he get it done?
Lost a little bit down there in 1 and 2. He's going to have to get it here.
Yeah, he slipped a little bit. He had it going good till he got him just off of turn 2. Coming back a little bit. Don't know if it's going to be enough to get his teammate Jeff Gordon off the pole. He's close. Yep.
Great lap, top 5.
And he won't do it. 5th overall, and you see the bit of a relief relieved look there from Jeff Gordon. But Jeff also probably knows some of these guys coming up that have to get in on time and speed may have a shot.
Yeah, that's pretty good whenever you take a man's setup and beat him. That tells you that, you know, you did a pretty good job in the seat.
So Jeff Gordon atop the speed charts. Martin Truex, Boyer, McMurray, and now Earnhardt Jr. 5th overall. More qualifying in just a moment. I continue, and now we move into a whole different group of cars. These are the guys that have to get in on time and speed. The first one is the 3-time IndyCar champion and now leader in the Robestas Rookie of the Year point standings, Sam Hornish Jr.
That's been great here in an IndyCar, but that's totally different than driving one of these stock cars around here.
The IndyCars just put it on flat on the floor and hold it.
Yeah, they race like that.
Yeah, all day long.
At 225 miles an hour, just a few inches apart. It's pretty exciting to watch them when they come here.
It is that, sure.
Sam has been the top finishing rookie the last 3 races in a row, so really starting to come on here in the final events of the season. 21st overall that lap in qualifying.
Yeah, 28.98, and I know he's the first one, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's going to make the race. I don't
should.
He can break that 29-second barrier, even though the track's going to cool down a little bit more. I think, and he's running that second lap here.
We might see some of these go-home cars try to run the second lap just because they're not sure about their lap. They may want to just try it, see if they can go a little quicker, but you can see this is going to be slower for Sam. Actually, 3/10 slower.
It's a good first lap for him, though. He did a good job of getting up to speed and getting out of the car what he needed to get him in this race.
Next car to go out will be Marcos Ambrose, the Australian driver, who will be making attempting to make his 9th start of the year. This was the 0-0 car under Michael Waltrip's banner. It became the 47 car for the final events of the year. And Marcus, of course, in a limited schedule, already has a top 5. Finished 3rd at Watkins Glen back on August 10th.
I've seen a lot of guys pick up from practice. He was fast in practice. If he can do that, this could get pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure he'd probably take something close to what he ran in practice.
Oh, yeah.
And not have to go out there, but he'd have to go do it.
Wants to be in the race, and that's one of the things that these guys fight. I mean, even if they've got a car that is capable of the pole, they've got to make sure they make a good lap to get in the race. And it's sometimes hard to go after that last 100th or 2 that you need to try to get the pole.
Boy, slipped up there coming out of 2, DJ.
Yeah, he did, and you can see he's still being compared to our pole sitter, Jeff Gordon. What it's about now, still losing a little bit of time here. Have to get back to the gas. It's going to be just in the 29-second bracket. About a 29.10 here.
That's not going to be what he was looking for. It's 29.13.
Yeah, he ran a 29.01 in practice, so slower than he had in practice. He's going to take a second lap.
See here, he's his track can actually be just a little bit quicker now in the second lap. This might be the first car we've seen pick up if he can carry it.
Right, doing a nice job here.
And now it looks like this car is going to pick up a little bit on the second lap.
That should move him in the top 25, and indeed it does. He is 24th right now with that lap.
There you go, buddy.
That's the 13th car in the 90s.
It's amazing.
It is amazing how close together these guys are. But that right there, you can see why they ran a second lap, because that might be what it took to get him in this race. That first lap wasn't going to get it done.
Yeah, that would have definitely been marginal probably, but I think that lap there, the one that he finished up on, is going to definitely get him in the show. Nice effort. That's tough to do, you know. Hard to go. I mean, it's hard to go out there and run 1 when you know you have to put the lap down.
Here's the 21 car, 1988 NASCAR Sprint Cup champion and 16-time most popular driver, Bill Elliott, qualifying for the Wood brothers.
Almost like Groundhog Days. 2 cars painted almost identical.
Yeah. This team's been performing much better here recently. Again, not one that necessarily shows that their finishes don't show exactly, but we've seen a lot more speed out of this race team and Bill Elliott, and looking up.
Got a top 15 finish at Martinsville. So this is they have shown some signs of running real well.
Never got a chance last week in Atlanta involved in an incident like in the early laps here on the backstretch.
Yeah, and he is locked into this race. That's a 29.25, which is 35th overall. He is locked in with his past champion. He's only used one of those this year, even though it's been listed whenever these rainouts have happened. Those do not count against those past champion provisions.
And you get
6 altogether through the year.
So he would have 5 left.
I think he's going to make it to the end of the season.
I think he's going to be fine.
So Bill tries to run a second lap also. Slows up a couple of tenths.
But the important thing is he will race here on Sunday. He'll go to work and see how good they can get this car for the heavy action.
Still 10 cars left to qualify, including this guy, the 18-year-old phenom, Joey Logano, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, trying to qualify. Tried to qualify at Richmond and rained out. Tried to qualify at Charlotte and rained out. He ran twice this year at New Hampshire and Kansas, but hoping that he can get this car in the field. He struggled in practice. Here's the guy that everyone was talking about in practice session. The 10-car, A.J. Allmendinger, was second quickest. He's got to beat a 28.65. Jeff Gordon to be able to put it on the pole.
He's up on the wheel so far. He got off that corner with a lot of speed.
He was standing in the gas, wasn't he? Car looks really good right here. Working the steering wheel a little bit. Lose a little bit of time, though, off of turn 2. And it's a tough balance. Whenever you know you have a fast car, but you want it, you got to be in the race. So you don't want to take any unnecessary chances.
At the same time, you have to run fast because these other guys are not going to let up.
Got to get after it. This is not a very good lap for him.
This is not at all what he's looking for. This is 34. He was second fastest in practice.
Gotta believe he'll take a second lap, or maybe someone will tell him to take a second one.
Mike Shipwood, the crew chief, he needs to be on the radio saying that's not good enough. That's definitely borderline.
Definitely borderline.
He's slower here.
Yeah, this is going to be slower. I think they were probably set up as far as tape-wise and air pressure-wise for that one lap because that's what they've been doing in practice.
He has done a great job for this team in only 2 starts, finishing 15th in Martinsville and 14th in Atlanta, but they will be disappointed with this.
920, bud. What's up there?
34th.
Thing's just tight. Way too tight.
See, he's frustrated, shaking his head in the car. They must have made a change maybe since practice, and the car's tighter than it was, or either that or the track change.
Track change, yeah. The cooler temperatures really. It doesn't take much to throw these cars off just a little bit.
A little bit is a lot because you can see how tight the qualifying session is.
Third time is the charm for this driver, 19-year-old Noblesville, Indiana chauffeur Brian Clausen. He tried to make his Cup Series debut at Charlotte, then at Atlanta. Rain kept him from qualifying, and now on the track for the first time in the Chip Ganassi Felix Sabates dog.
Oh, I thought he was carrying too much speed there. Man, he nails that wall pretty hard, but he has to keep going. Has to make it on speed, so he doesn't have an option to just let up and come in. He have to try another lap. It's the slowest car so far.
29.42 is his lap there.
He won a pole in a nationwide car at Daytona back in July.
He hit it again.
Same place and more times. That's going to be it.
It's obviously not going to be fast enough to make the field.
Well, 5 cars won't make it, and he's got to hope there are 5 slower than him. Here's the first of the 2 hits.
You see just a little bit higher out of that corner than what you need to be. You need to be on the bottom. You got to carry a lot of speed, but you have to give yourself room. Track really flattens out right there.
I was going to say, this track is tricky in that area. It's not like Atlanta or Charlotte. The tracks look very similar if you just walk in here and look, but they're different as far as coming off the corner of the transitions.
Flatten the right side of that Dodge. More qualifying to come. Jeff Gordon still atop the charts. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying from Texas Motor Speedway. It's the NASCAR debut of some young drivers making a move up from the Nationwide Series. Here's the 40 car. Brian Clausen, who just tried to go out a moment ago to qualify for the first time. And there is A.J. Allmendinger, who was hoping to maybe have a shot at the front row, if not the pole. He was second quickest in practice. His lap clocked at 34th overall. And right now, the quickest among the go-or-go-homers is Sam Hornish Jr. Jamie.
And A.J. Allmendinger walking by us now, not looking too excited. This is drama-filled right now. Sam, what is it like being on the outside looking in? You've been on both sides. What's it like waiting to see if you make it?
It's more frustrating and more painful than you can think of most times, just because some days you go in there and you go through that first practice and you feel like you got a really great car, and then you go out there and qualify and it's just not there. And then the other times it's like, man, we're never going to make this, and you go out, hey, wow, we're actually pretty good. So it's just a lot of ups and downs, and it's not a very good position to be in. And as much as all the other guys complain about having rain the last 3 weeks, for me to sit there and it's rain, I don't have to worry about qualifying. It's just we'll make it in the race if it rains. So of course we always want to start better than 36, and we feel that the Penske truck around Dodge is pretty good. And we actually made a couple adjustments trying to go where Kurt was in practice because he was so good, and just didn't work for us. So we went back to where we were about halfway through that session, and the car was really good, and probably underdrove it just a little bit. So I was pretty happy with our run.
Sam Hornish Jr., the man in an IndyCar here, won 3 times, including last year. Sam, what is a qualifying lap like in this car compared to the open wheel car?
The open wheel car, you put it on the floor, you run around the bottom, and it's really this track is a lot about drafting in an Indy car. Here it's a lot about trying to use as little amount of brake as you can, just enough to get the front of the car set and to get it rotating the way that you want to, and then how quick can you get back to the gas. And that's what our problem was there. I went in there, didn't use very much brake, the car turned, and I'm kind of sitting there waiting for it to push like it was at the end of practice, and it's just turned. I'm like, I got to get back to the gas.
All right, Sam Hornish Jr. continue to watch the board, but he's looking so far so good, guys.
He can smile. He's not nervous at all, and some of the guys yet to go are a little worried. Some of these guys making their first oval track start. How about this guy, Max Pappas? Is he nervous? Ah, look at that big smile from Max. He's okay. He's not worried. He'll get a shot to go out here momentarily.
They're just checking the track to make sure there's no debris out there from Brian Clausen scraping that wall.
25 car, Brad Keselowski getting set to go. This he'll make his, or try to make his, NASCAR Sprint Cup debut. The GoDaddy.com Chevrolet. Always love seeing that 25. Reminds me of Papa Joe Hendrick. That was his number for many, many years, the car that he was listed as the owner of. Brad in NASCAR Nationwide competition, 2 wins. One at Nashville, impressive win at Bristol from the back of the field, 37th, and drove that car all the way up to victory without a scratch on it in Bristol, Tennessee.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
He would like to drive in this one on Sunday. Our coverage begins in stop number 8 for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, 3 o'clock Eastern time, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Alan Bestwick, Brad Daugherty, Rusty Wallace. And then the question is, can Jimmy Johnson continue his magical ways? Remember, he won this race a year ago. Carl Edwards won back in the spring. It's the Dickies 500 in Texas, 3 o'clock Eastern time, live on ABC. Marcus Ambrose has gone out to qualify. Let's check in with him, hear what he's got to say. Jamie.
Well, we were just talking about doing double duty because he's getting ready to go out and qualify the other car. What is it like for you, Marcos? You're still learning these cars and getting it in the show, and you have to worry about the Nationwide.
Yeah, the line and length's a little different just because the COT, the Cup car, carries a lot more speed into one. But really the hardest thing's just because we have to qualify this car in on speed, it's just a real brain strain, So you end up being tighter than what you want behind the wheel and not thinking too straight. But hopefully I've done enough to get this Clorox Kingsford COT in the show. I'm really looking forward to hopefully racing on Sunday.
Right now, second fastest go-or-go-homer. In practice, though, very fast. How are you feeling about the race car should you make it in on Sunday?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I just missed a little bit there in qualifying. I got loose in the first lap, had to do it on the second. We're the only car that gained on the second lap, so hopefully it's enough to get in, and I'm sure we'll have a great day if we do get to race on Sunday.
All right, guys, we'll watch Marcos Ambrose. Buck?
Marcus, one of 14 drivers doing double duty. Here's the 25 car, another one of the double duty drivers, Brad Keselowski. In practice, he was 31st quickest, and they were doing a lot of changing on this car back in the garage area, which has got a lot of teammates he can get ideas from.
He's lost a lot of time in 1 and 2. See, he's 37th tracking so far. That's not going to be good enough. He may have to make another lap. He's 35th at 29.22.
What he's got to do is hope that 5 of these next drivers coming up are slower than him. We'll see what he can do in his second lap.
Yeah, we talk about these young drivers and how impressive they are, and especially in the nationwide series, but just shows you as they come over here trying to make these first starts just how difficult it is to race against the best in the world. And in these cars, it's a little more difficult than what they struggle a little more than what we might anticipate at times. Second lap is slower, about 2.5 tenths slower. So he lines up, he's 35th right now.
It's going to be close right where he is because he has out-qualified 2 guys so far.
Yeah.
He needs to out-qualify 5 of them.
There are 7 cars left to go. And, of course, among those 7 are Schrader and Nemechek, the guy that's coming up next, a couple of veterans who are very good at qualifying. Here's front row Joe. See what he can do in his 78.
That's how he got that name, from qualifying.
He was good in practice, too.
We're going to compare his time to Sam Hornish, who is the quickest of the guys that have to get in on time and speed. Sam is 21st on the speed charts right now. Let's see if Joe Nemechek can be quicker than Sam.
Yeah, pretty good corner there. The car wiggle a little bit in 1 and 2, but see how it gets down into 3. You heard these drivers talk about that's been the most difficult part right there. You have a tailwind down there and it's carrying you off into that corner a little faster than what you want to be sometimes. Good lap, though, for Joe.
That'll probably get him in. He's 27th overall. There's already 3 drivers that are slower than him.
He's trying another lap. He's got a pretty good lap going so far.
He had it hung out there off of turn 2 for sure.
Yeah, this will probably get if he can hang on in the top 25.
Yeah, he's losing time now, though. Just run out of grip on those tires. Nice effort, though. That should be good enough to get Joe in the race.
What that does do is lock in Sam Hornish Jr.
Let's hear from Brian Clausen. Mike.
Doc, disappointed Brian Clausen. He was supposed to make his debut in Charlotte, but because of the rain, had to wait until this week, and the lap just didn't go the way you anticipated. What happened?
We just got through 1 and 2 pretty good, and coming up off 2, our Guitar Hero Dodge got really tight, and this go or go home qualifying, you kind of have to get everything you can out of it, and so stayed in the gas and caught the wall, and obviously wasn't the lap we were looking for. So really hate it. The guys worked really hard on this car for the last month, and we've been waiting to try and debut, and to have a lap like that was pretty disappointing.
Doc, by all accounts in the garage, this kid has a lot of talent. There will be a bright future. He just does not know when his next opportunity will come.
I know he was waiting and wanting this so badly and just couldn't get there. Here's Kenny Schrader, a 23-time pole winner in his 730 career starts.
He's being compared to our pole sitter, Jeff Gordon, right here. It's going to be a pretty decent lap. It'll be somewhere around just over a 29 flat. 29.08 for Schrader.
Still in the throttle. We'll switch over now and compare him to Marcus Ambrose. If he could beat Marcus Ambrose, he would be locked in. If he does not beat Marcus Ambrose, that'll lock Marcus Ambrose in.
All right, I didn't do this lap. Not when you said,
And he comes across, and he will not beat Marcus Ambrose. Marcus Ambrose will be locked into the field now, along with Sam Hornish Jr. Let's go down and visit with Brad Keselowski. Jamie.
Well, he's checking out our fan view here, looking at the times. Brad, what'd you learn on that lap, your first time qualifying here for a Sprint Cup race?
Well, it's going to be really close, but it's great GoDaddy Chevrolet. I really feel good about it. Qualifying's not been my strongest suit, so something to build on and learn from. We'll see. It's going to be really close, but really proud of everyone at Hendrick Motorsports either way. This is a great car, and hopefully we get to race it.
In practice, I saw you walk down 88, the 24, the 48, all your teammates. Anything that you took from them in practice that could help you here?
Yeah, a bunch actually. Just certain ways to drive the car. In practice, I felt like we were strong in 1 and 2, and not so much in 3 and 4, and it was kind of opposite here in qualifying. So I think that was probably my weak spot, was through 1 and 2. But I learned a lot from Jeff and Jimmy, and they helped me out a lot for 3 and 4. But I think I need to be a little better in 1 and 2. But we'll see how that ends up. Either way, I'm real proud of everyone on this GoDaddy Chevrolet and everyone at Hendrick Motorsports to give me this opportunity.
He's certainly the future of Hendrick Motorsports right now. Joey Logano looking to qualify for his 3rd Cup race, guys.
Joey trying to get it in, and Brad needs 4 of these last 5 to be slower than him so he can get in. He's already quicker than the 40 car of Brian Clausen. Here's one of them. Joey Logano is 42nd on his first lap.
It's got to be a big-time disappointment for the Gibbs team.
Oh,
wow. They still ain't right.
They lose there, yeah. Yeah, he struggled in practice, and we know they were making a lot of changes to this car, but it don't seem like they found the speed that is going to be needed to make this race.
Definitely going to be slower here by 1/4 of a second.
He ran New Hampshire and Kansas, didn't get to qualify at Richmond and Atlanta.
As disappointed as A.J. Allmendinger was with his run, he's starting to see the brighter side of things.
Yeah, actually,
these cars.
Allmendinger's lap is looking a lot better right now after we see some of these other cars run. He looks like he's going to be in pretty decent shape of making the field.
That lap there, by the way, locks in Joe Nemechek. He is in.
That's Wally Brown right there that's got the headset on. That's the crew chief.
Jimmy Makar just to the left in the blue shirt. Sunglasses on his head there. He's the director of all the racing operations at Joe Gibbs Racing. Has been there since the team was started. He was the first employee of Joe Gibbs Racing.
I guess you were the second.
Yeah, well, actually, I was hired first. I don't know if drivers are considered employees.
Yeah, we do. We actually will throw
in there. You throw in there? Yeah. But Jimmy was the man that I wanted to start. And he did a great job of building that organization to what it is today.
No doubt about that. Here's Tony Raines in the 70 car. See what Tony can get this car in the field.
Not good so far.
29.42 for Tony Raines. He's going to have to pick it up quite a bit if he's going to want to race Sunday.
That lap right there will not be fast enough if he doesn't pick it up here. Still not. Doesn't look like it's improving.
This is going to probably lock Kenny Schrader.
That's Dave Scuggs there, the crew chief, and you can see he's shaking his head.
Almost mirroring his first lap.
It is exactly to the thousandth of a second.
Wow.
First and second lap.
And that will lock in Schrader.
Good for Kenny Schrader, but
not good for Tony Raines.
Tony Raines, no.
Well, Mad Max, here's the 13 car. Germain Racing Toyota. Lanzard to run 18 races in 2009. Former Formula One test driver, open wheel ace.
Well, everybody, we talked about how difficult this is. You can magnify that about 10 times for Max Pappas because he just doesn't have the experience in these cars in these type of conditions, knowing that you have to go out here and do it. But it will be good experience for him. He wasn't very fast in practice, but we'll see what he's got for qualifying.
A lot of these other series, they can go out there and run 1, 2, 3, 4 laps of qualifying and actually run more than a few laps. It's like almost like a practice session. That's one thing that's different about NASCAR. When you pull your car to the end of the line and that guy taps on your fender, you got 2 laps to do it.
Yeah, you got to get it done then.
They took Max to Kentucky and tested for 2.5 days, and they said he really started to get the hang of being on an oval, but this isn't Kentucky, and there's a lot of pressure here under the lights to get it done with just 2 laps.
No, it would be almost unbelievable expectations for us to put on that he could come in here, a team that hasn't run this year and a driver that hasn't tried to qualify for an oval track race, and expect him to go out here and get the job done. And right there, Max was 29.97, which is quite a bit slower. He's going to have to pick it up about 0.6 of a second, a little bit more to get himself into a position of being in the race. And you can see it's not going to happen for him here today. Slows down like most have on that second lap.
That will lock the 10 car of A.J. Allmendinger in. Despite the frustration of Allmendinger having a tight car and disappointment of qualifying, he will race on Sunday. And unfortunately, the 13 of Max Pappas will not.
Well, our next one, it's Brad Keselowski's going to be looking right here. Paying close attention, Johnny Sauter did not have the speed in the practice session, and he'll be our next car on the racetrack. This could determine Brad's fate as to whether he's going to make his first Cup start.
So it's Johnny Sauter and then Chad McCumbee, the final two cars to go out to qualify. Of course, Chad driving the 45 car for Petty Enterprises. See what Johnny can do.
He's a little high entering that corner. Gets the car back down some, but losing a lot of time off of turn 2.
It's got to be the 29-22 for Keselowski.
Hopefully it's just going to happen on this lap.
Once again, tough for teams that don't run the entire schedule. Or
he runs a 22. It's a 30-22.
Yeah. He's going to have to pick up second. He's going to put Brad Keselowski out here. He needs about 9/10 if he were to get ahead of Joey Logano, who's up there also. It's not going to happen today. So Brad Keselowski is going to make his first Sprint Cup start here on Sunday.
As Johnny Sauter comes by, Brad will look up and see that lap there locks him into the field for the first time.
All right, you can smile, Brad. Go ahead.
He probably doesn't know yet. He's not going to smile. He knows it's official.
Someone go over and tell that boy he's in the field.
All right. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, you're okay. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, now we can smile.
And have someone believable come up and tell him. Okay, now you guys can give some hugs and high five. There you go. Well, one car left to go, and the guy that is going to get in or may not get in is either Chad McCumbee in the 45 or Joey Logano in the 02.
And the 29:30 is the lap that has to be run here by Chad McCumbee. See here, he's tracking about a 10th off of that right now. So Joey Logano's looking pretty good right now.
McCumbee, 5 starts for Petty Enterprises. His best finish was 17th at Pocono back in June.
Not going to get it on this lap. He's going to have to try to run that second lap and pick up, which we've said hasn't happened much today, just a couple of times.
He's going to have to pick up about 3/10 or a little bit more than 3/10 on this lap from his first lap. And it looks like it's slower. So it looks like Joey Logano will race Sunday also.
So he's still losing time. He's headed to turn 4. Our field's going to be set. Jeff Gordon's going to win the pole.
Jeff Gordon does something he has never done in his illustrious career, and that is win a pole at Texas Motor Speedway. He's never won a race here. And if you talk to Jeff, he tells you it's his worst racetrack. 67th career pole for Jeff Gordon, 4th in 2008. Yeah, Chad McCumbee will not make it, and there is Jeff. You can finally take a deep breath and smile. Let's go down to Mike.
And Jeff Gordon just walked out of his hauler. After what you went through here in the spring, how big is this?
This is huge. I can't believe that we just out in the pole in Texas. I think it's my first ever pole here. So it's a great way to get the weekend start for this DuPont Nicorette Chevrolet. Really excited about this team, and all the hard work they put into, especially trying to come back and prove ourselves here at Texas. So it's a great start to the weekend. Only half the battle. We'll see what happens tomorrow, getting it ready for practice or for the race.
I know I don't need to remind you of your statistics here at Texas, but you know what they are. What's it like for you coming into this weekend at this racetrack, which you've had such difficulty with?
I'm always optimistic every time I go to any racetrack, whether we've been good there or bad there, that, as a race team, we're just good enough to overcome anything that tries to tear us down. So, I came in here knowing that we've made huge changes in gains with our race package and our cars and feel and everything else. And, first lap on the track is always the first sign. And the first lap, so, wow, this thing feels pretty good. It's just too tight. And we kept freeing it up. The car kept getting faster and faster and backed it up qualifying. Just fantastic feeling. And that's the only way you can approach it, is let the car speak for itself on the racetrack.
They're going to give you a shotgun now. What are you going to do with it?
You know, I used to pheasant hunt with my dad, but I haven't done that since I was about 12. So I don't know. Might have to get back into it. I actually have one of these shotguns already, and they're amazing. The detail into it, but I didn't get it by winning the poll this way. I think it was a rain out or something. They still gave it to me, but we got it legitimately this time, and very excited about it.
He's right. It's legitimate. Twin Berettas for Jeff Gordon. Doc?
Wow, Jeff Gordon, the first pole at Texas, and 19 times Jeff Gordon has won from the pole. An 81-time victor in the NASCAR Sprint Cup, and he's yet to win here in 2008.
I'm about to tell you a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Fact or fiction, doesn't matter. It's all how I tell it. We play at fulltiltpoker.net.
Wow, we got all-state safe driving bonus checks.
I'm thinking spa.
I'm thinking sponsorship opportunity.
Anything else?
I said, can I get you ladies anything else?
I think we're satisfied.
Introducing the Allstate Safe Driving Bonus Check. Earn it by driving safe for 6 months. Spend it however you want. Are you in good hands?
There's a craftsman in all of us. Next Tuesday night, one mistake, one missed opportunity could cost you $9 million in cash. Who will win the most coveted jewel in the game? The World Series of Poker Final Table, Tuesday, November 11th at 9 on ESPN.
T is for Texas. And with the clock ticking in the chase, T is a full tilt tussle that's touch and go at times, but always too close to call. This week, Jimmy Johnson turns up the temperature as he continues a thrilling run toward his third straight title. So T means tightening it up for a teeth-clenching track deep in the heart of Texas. The chase continues with the Dickies 500 at Texas, Sunday at 3 Eastern on ABC.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Qualifying his history in the field is set. Look how close this field was. Wow, 72 hundredths of a second between first and 43rd. And the guy who just got in had to be holding his breath is with Jamie. Joey Logano.
Well, we're looking at the board right now. He's looking at his number up there. We tried to talk to him earlier, and he stormed off. You didn't think you made it, did you?
No, I didn't think at all that we made it, but I mean, you guys did a good job. We changed a lot. It actually picked up a lot from our practice speed, so I just want to thank Home Depot. I want to give us opportunity here to get this thing in the race. I'm pretty sure I got a better race car than the qualifying car. We were good in race runs at the beginning of practice, so and then we put qualifying trim in the car and we were junk. So, and we weren't much better this time, but that's why we got tomorrow to work on this thing and hopefully get it better.
Joey, you're 18 years old. Put in perspective for people at home what it's like to come out like this in the middle of the season and try to learn these cars with this team that's just kind of put together for a few races.
Well, it's not easy, but if it was easy, everyone would be doing it too. So it's just part of it. It's part of the learning curve. But I'm glad we got it in, that's for sure. And then now we can go to the next step. We'll get to the GameStop toilet over there and qualify the nationwide car next. And then we work on this thing all day tomorrow and see what we can do.
A lot on his plate today. Doc, in practice earlier, he did say he was faster in the race run than on the qualifying run. So something to watch for on Sunday.
Dad giving him a big high five there. And let's set the field here for Sunday. 5 cars have gone home. 43 will start. And Jeff Gordon on the pole for the first time here in Texas. Martin Truex won the pole here last fall. Clint Boyer third. Jamie McMurray, his best qualifying start of the year. He had started 5th 3 times.
See Matt Kenseth starting 6th. That's a good starting spot for the 17 team. And Scott Riggs, that was a good lap for the 66 team.
Great lap by him. Reed Sorensen also there in the 9th spot.
David Rudeman, the continuing surge for Michael Waltrip Racing. Those cars, the whole team getting better and better week after week. Carl Edwards on the outside of row 8. You see Greg Biffle and Mark Martin in row 10. Both those guys are contenders on Sunday.
Nice job by Sam Hornish Jr.
And Marcus Ambrose in the 47 car there. Started 24.
Yeah, Brad Daugherty happy about that. See Marcos in there.
Maybe he'll give him a raise. What do you think?
He needs one, yeah.
We're talking Brad Daugherty. I don't think about races here. Ryan Newman, Kenny Schrader. Scott Speed will start his third race, trying to get more experience, get a top 20 finish. Bobby Labonte, the two-time pole sitter. A.J. Allmendinger, watch for A.J. to come early because he was so good in practice early. Jeff Burton typically qualifies toward the back, but he will be there when the race is over. Got to believe he'll be in the top 10, if not the top 5. And there, of course, Joey Logano, the 18-year-old, making his third career start here for Joe Gibbs Racing in Sprint Cup. A lot of Jeff Gordon fans here have been coming a long time waiting to see this, and they said, you know what, we believe in Jeff. He's going to get it done. And early in the week, everything you read from Jeff said, Texas is just not good to me. I've had terrible finishes, can't qualify well, can't finish well, haven't won there, but that could all change. Maybe, just maybe, he gets his first win here this Sunday in 2008.
Welcome to My Best Western.
As a business person, I know what business travelers need, wherever they go.
Things like breakfast and fresh in-room coffee.
Free high-speed internet access.
And the promise you'll find these things at every Best Western.
We are there, wherever your business takes you.
Join the rewards program that gives you rewards faster. Stay any 2 qualified nights at Best Western between September 14th and November 21st and earn double points when you pay with your MasterCard. Earn even more at bestwestern.com.
We were just getting ready to go fishing, and 5 Hour Energy's in that little stand by the cash register. I bought about 4 or 5 of them. Me and all my buddies took them. The next thing you know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. We're out in the lake, and we're fishing. You know, we're still fishing, and we're still catching fish, and it kept us wide awake. You're reacting a lot faster. Your eyes are wide open. You're paying a lot more attention to what's going on, and I just think it really helps out when I'm racing my car. Paul, the thing I like about 5 Hour Energy, no crashes.
Steve, I'll tell you one thing. This family doesn't like crashes.
5 Hour Energy. I use it. I love it.
Ooh.
That was good.
Here, and I'm just celebrating my latest victory. You see, I switched to Nationwide Insurance and saved a lot on my car insurance, and you can too. Just call 877-NW Series for a quote today, and you can save like up to $500. Plus, you can enter to win the ultimate NASCAR experience and meet me trackside in Las Vegas. Just call 877-NW Series today to switch and save. Nationwide is on your side.
It is official. Jeff Gordon will get the Beretta shotgun, which is goes to the pole sitter. $65,000 value because of the hand engraving that's done over in Europe. A very coveted trophy by drivers. By the way, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got it in the spring. Hendrick cars sweep the pole at Texas in 2008. This is the 3rd fastest pole run of the season. You see back in April, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 190.907. And here in October, Jeff Gordon 188 and almost a half miles an hour. And the guy that just missed the pole here but had it a year ago is with Jamie.
Well, his Phillies won earlier in the week, and now he's starting on the front row at Texas. It's been a